I'll share one more thing without the details. There are the areas I was in, at least. There was a lot of superstition, and because of that, the adversary uses that a lot. And I came upon a lot of experiences that I really needed. We needed the priesthood power, dealing with evil spirits or haunted houses, that sort of thing, that I never thought I would come across. You just think it's part of the Old New Testament and it's not real, but it is. I came across that a few times on my mission. And that's why I said, like I said earlier, that the bishops are in charge of their ward. You got to remember that. Sometimes you can do what you need to do as a missionary, as a servant of the Lord, and you got to remember that you need to pass off the responsibility sometimes to local leaders. I don't like to share too much because sometimes talking about evil stuff can invite evil feelings. But just knowing that it is real, and a lot of times situations like that began because of curiosities and one girl playing with the Ouija board, always trying to contact her neighbor who had passed away, things like that. Brought in some pretty scary stuff. I did learn that we were being helped. Angels were there helping us. It wasn't just us in the room. There was other good spirits looking out for us. I'm trying to figure out what I can say without going into too much detail. But sometimes just inviting the spirit with you into the room is a great help. There was one experience where we found this girl who needed our help, and we were actually working in one area, knocking doors. And that morning I woke up and I was thinking we should go work somewhere else. And my companion looks at me and says, "What are you thinking, Elder?" I was thinking, "I think we got to go work in that neighborhood today." And he says, "Yeah, I think you're right." And so we did. We walked to a new neighborhood we'd never been in, and we picked the street right off. We knew what street we should work on. And about 3 houses in, we came to this lady who, we asked if we can come in and share a message. She goes, "No, not right now. My daughter's sick." And we knew we needed to get in that house. We said, "Well, can we come in and say a prayer for her?" And we went in, and we could feel right when we went into her room what was going on. Even though I had never experienced any of that before, we knew what was happening and the evil that was there and what we needed to do. So I really felt that we were drawn there. And that particular family, we tried teaching a bit later on. They didn't really want anything to do with us, but their friend who happened to be there at the time, they were really curious what we did. What's this priesthood thing? And had a lot of questions, and we tracked her down the next day and started teaching that family. That whole family was converted and is still active to this day. Probably because they saw some really weird supernatural experiences that had to do with the priesthood. We were able to help them out temporarily, but when it came right down to it, they didn't want help. So we can only do what's wanted. When I think back on my mission, I just always know that I felt protected. I was watched over. I remember going through scary, dangerous areas, but knowing that I was fine. Thinking that, if there's somebody up ahead of me in those bushes ready to jump us, I would know it beforehand. I would know it to go a different way. I just always felt very protected. And that comes with, obeying the mission rules, obeying the mission president, doing what you're supposed to do, and you'll be fine.